Hi, everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about breakout rooms. This can't be a full demonstration because of the way that it records and because right now I only have me in this Zoom. However, I think we can cover some of the basics enough for you to decide if this is something that you need to further investigate for your own Zooms. So the first thing we're going to do is find that breakout room button. There it is. If you had your participants and your chat open, or just participants or just chat, that you might not see the breakout rooms button. You may have to press more and then you'll find it. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and click breakout rooms. I'm going to move this window. Something you should know ahead of time, if breakout rooms become something that you use regularly, then you should know that you can pre-assign breakout rooms at the meeting creation stage. And it's a fairly simple upload of a spreadsheet. But if that's something that you find that you're doing over and over again and that you want to pre-assign those groups, you're going to want to look at how you can do that at the meeting creation stage. You should also know that if you have a co-hosting situation, that only the host can manage breakout rooms. I believe this is the only thing that a host can do that a co-host cannot do. So you just want to keep that in mind as well. But when I press that breakout room button, it gives me the option to assign them manually, which means I'm going to pick and choose from my participants list who's going in which group, which it's really easy to do. It's a series of check boxes. Or I can do it automatically and it'll just shuffle the students in based on the numbers that I've assigned. And then all I have to do is hit create rooms and poof, all my students are into their own little Zooms. And I kind of am sitting alone in this Zoom hosting sphere, and then they can press a button within their Zoom that calls the teacher over. So another thing that you want to think about with the breakout rooms is the protocols that you want to put in place with your students. And that's going to depend on your teaching context, your already established class norms, and of course the age of your students. So some things you might think about would be perhaps they're working on a 3-step problem. You might have the students press the call teacher over after they've finished step 2, so that that's a good, stop point for you to check in with them. There's strategies that you can think about on how you're going to manage that space. And when it's time to call the students in, you have a couple options. So I'm just going to go ahead and create the rooms. I chose manually. So I'm going to assign them, and I want to show you how easy that is. I'm going to put JM and Mrs. M's iPad into a breakout room, and I'm going to hit open all rooms. So I am joining my rooms on my other devices here. So my students are in their breakout rooms, breakout room 1. JM, her connection is slow apparently. And over here, I can ask for help. So JM is going to ask for help, which gives me a little button that says invite host. And so you'll see I get my message here that says JM in breakout room 1 has asked for help. So in this case, I would join breakout room 1. Notice it's taking me sort of out of the big Zoom. And now I'm in the Zoom. It looks exactly the same because it's the same participants. But now I'm in with those participants from that breakout room. And I can leave the room. I'm just going to leave the breakout room. I'm returning to the main session. And so I'm just kind of toggling around. I can go back and forth into my breakout rooms however I want. And now when I go in, let's say it is time to remind everybody something. I can type a message. It's going to remind them all of the message. I can close all the rooms. So they're all going to close within 60 seconds. That gives them enough time to wrap up. But I can also just leave the breakout room as a participant there. And it'll give me that same message that I'm returning to the main room. And now everybody is back. And we're going to go back to me as the spotlight. And I might also notice here that in my breakout rooms panel, I can look at some of the other options as well. So you have a variety of options, we'll just say. So you just want to kind of think about that. This is definitely, hands down, one of the things that if you're considering using, I highly recommend you gather a group of your colleagues and you all take turns hosting and then using breakout rooms and being the student participant in a breakout room. That way you can also have a kind of a sense of what their experience is so that you can know you can kind of anticipate based on your teaching context what questions might come up, and you can have a better sense of what that experience will be like for your students and whether or not it makes sense for your teaching context. So I hope this information about breakout rooms was helpful. It's certainly not an exhaustive video on breakout rooms. There's far more information that you can find and ask about, but it should give you a good enough idea as to whether or not this is something that makes sense for you to think on further and to potentially incorporate into your Zoom rooms. Hope this information is helpful.